My older brother is getting married to his partner on July 20th, a date that they agreed on in January and shared with the family. July 21st is our grandmother's 80th birthday. She comes from a line of women where none of them live past the age of 80, so it's a big deal for her. She announced last year that she wanted to go all out with a weekend-long celebration. When my brother announced his wedding date, she was the first one to react with kindness. He forgot all about her 80th birthday plans when deciding upon the wedding date. They had made several down payments before announcing, so there was no point in asking them to move the wedding a week before or later for Grandma. And Grandma wouldn't allow it. She ultimately decided to have a relaxing, low-key Sunday dinner because my brother and his fiancée also wanted to have a post-wedding brunch that day for relatives and the bridal party. My mom and I got to talking, and we thought it would be super fun if at midnight us grandkids could surprise Grandma with a cake and have the band play her favorite song so we could share a dance with her. It seemed like a fun way to include such an important milestone into the celebratory weekend since she was giving up her big birthday bash in favor of the wedding. I called my brother immediately to share the idea with him, and he loved it. He even came up with the idea to make the cake England-themed because Mom and I are taking her to England in September as our gift. It's a lifelong dream of hers to go. That is, he loved it until he didn't, meaning until he spoke with his fiancée. He called to say the cake deal for Grandma was off, and that same night I received a text from his fiancée telling me I should have checked with her first if she would be okay with it, and how I was being insensitive, rude, and selfish for meddling with her special day. Yes, her special day, not my brother's special day or their special day, her special day. She really seems like a good person, and we get along well despite not being super close. But it seemed logical to me to contact my brother since it's also his wedding and it's his grandma, not hers. I responded back by saying it was my brother's special day as well, and how he was initially thrilled by the idea. I also told her I didn't appreciate her accusing me of meddling since both Mom and I have fully respected the fact that she planned the entire wedding with her mom, leaving us out of the loop despite my parents paying for a portion of the wedding. My mom was bummed about being fully excluded, even though all she would have wanted was to know how everything was going. The wedding reception is scheduled to end at 2 a.m., and by midnight, she'll already have been the center of attention. It's not like someone is going to jump out of her wedding cake and propose to another person. My text was met with a phone call from my brother, who basically told me the conversation is over as I've overstepped my boundaries. Am I the idiot? Now for a few comments before the update. Comment 1. Of all of the posts over the years that I've read that have to do with a similar situation, proposals, birthdays, pregnancy, etc., this is the only one that I've seen with a clear yes answer. In fact, if I was the bride or groom, I'd be relieved to have something to alleviate the guilt of co-opting the date, never mind the joy of honoring someone so special. It would just be another testament to the love of my family on a day of joy. This Redditor would like to wish Grandma health, happiness, and many more birthdays. Comment 2. Not the idiot. Something similar happened to me with my wedding. We got married on a Tuesday at the courthouse because that day was special to us. We had the church wedding and big party the following weekend. It happened to fall on my Phil's birthday. My husband's sister baked a little cake, and the whole place sang happy birthday to him. He was very touched. I was so happy to be able to do that for him. I'm sorry your future sister-in-law can't spare 2 minutes to celebrate a beloved family member. Now for the update. Hey everyone, thanks for reading my previous post. I wanted to give you all an update on what's been happening over the past few days. After my conversation with my brother, things took a turn for the worse. The next day I received a long, angry email from his fiancée, accusing me of trying to sabotage their wedding. She claimed that I was jealous of her and that I was trying to make the day all about Grandma instead of them. I was shocked and hurt by her accusations, especially since I had always thought we had a good relationship. I tried to call my brother to talk things out, but he wouldn't answer my calls. I even went over to their house to try and smooth things over in person, but when I got there, I found out that they had left town for a few days to get away from the drama. I was devastated. I couldn't believe that my own brother would just leave without even talking to me first. While they were gone, I started to hear rumors that his fiancée was telling people that I had purposely tried to ruin their wedding. I couldn't believe it. I had never said anything negative about her or their relationship, and now she was spreading lies about me. When they finally came back, I tried to talk to my brother again, but he was still giving me the cold shoulder. I found out from my mom that he had told her that he was considering not inviting me to the wedding at all. I was heartbroken. I couldn't imagine not being there to see my own brother get married. I decided to take a risk and write his fiancée a letter, apologizing for any misunderstanding and trying to explain my side of the story. I poured my heart out, telling her how much I love my brother and how I would never do anything to hurt him or their relationship. I even offered to help with any last-minute wedding preparations just to show her that I was on their side, but it backfired. A few hours after I dropped off the letter, my brother showed up at my door, furious. He threw the letter in my face and told me that I had only made things worse. His fiancée had apparently taken my letter as a sign of weakness and was now even more convinced that I was trying to sabotage their wedding. I tried to explain myself, but he wouldn't listen. He told me that he didn't want me at the wedding and that he didn't want anything to do with me anymore. I was crushed. I couldn't believe that my own brother was cutting me out of his life over something so small. Later that night, I found out from my cousin that my brother and his fiancée had decided to move the wedding to a different venue, just to make sure that I wouldn't be able to show up. They had apparently told everyone that I was unstable and that they couldn't trust me not to cause a scene. I was devastated. I had always been there for my brother, through thick and thin. When we were kids, I was the one who stood up for him when he was being bullied at school. When he came out to our family, I was the first one to hug him and tell him that I loved him no matter what. And now he was turning his back on me, all because of a misunderstanding with his fiancée. I don't know what to do now. I feel like I've lost my brother forever, and I don't know how to fix it. I'm trying to stay strong for my mom and grandma, but it's hard. I know they're both heartbroken over this whole situation too. I guess I just wanted to share this update with all of you, in case anyone has any advice or words of encouragement. I'm trying to stay positive, but it's hard when it feels like my whole world is falling apart. Thanks for listening. Am I the idiot for getting mad at my parents for giving my sister 70,000 while I get nothing? I have two daughters who have made different choices in life that have led to different economic outcomes. I don't think one is more responsible than the other, but their career paths and choice of partners definitely led to my eldest being much more successful. We recently sold our house and gave about $70,000 to my youngest to help with buying an apartment. My eldest, 38 years old female, is more gifted in math and is an engineer. She owns her own house and her husband is an anesthesia assistant. They both make a comfortable salary and can afford piano lessons for her son and daughter. My youngest daughter, 35 years old female, was never the best student but loves helping people. She got her degree in psychology and then married her boyfriend at the time. No one in the family liked her boyfriend due to us finding him to be lazy. He worked in snow removal in the winter, but then took unemployment in the summer. But she liked him and didn't listen to our concerns, so we decided to be supportive. They married and she went through graduate school for social work. They had a daughter during her schooling, and then he decided he didn't want to be a father. She said it was out of the blue and thinks he found his current girlfriend then and wanted out. They divorced a year later, and now my youngest daughter and her daughter have been living in rentals. He does pay child support, but only about $300 a month due to his low income, which doesn't even come close to covering daycare. She doesn't make a lot in social work despite having a master's. I moved over there temporarily to be with her and babysit during the divorce. We also partially paid for her rent at that time. We sold our home to downsize to an apartment. We really wanted our youngest daughter to be able to afford a permanent place to live and gave her $70,000 out of the proceeds of the sale for her to buy an apartment. This was when interest rates were still low, so she bought a one-bedroom for her and her daughter and locked in a good rate. My eldest found out about it and was angry because she feels like we always give her sister money. I told her sister is struggling and she already has a house. She said it was her own choice to marry a loser everyone told her was a bad idea. She accused us of always financially helping her sister, and I told her if she needed help, we would help her too. She said we wouldn't, because she knows her sister always is the one that needs handholding. She also told me between helping her with rent, paying for graduate school, and this, that she shouldn't have to raise a hand to help us if we need it because her sister got all our help. I think she needs to realize we will give help to the one who needs it, not just split it down the middle when she is already doing well. Now, for a few comments before the update. Comment 1. No idiots here. It's your money and you can do what you want with it. But if your daughter feels that you are always bailing out her sister, I can see why she would have some resentment. Your daughter implied that this happens frequently. There is a fine line between helping family when they need it and being equitable with treatment. Who knows how well you have walked that line? If it were me, instead of gifting $70,000, I probably would have let my daughter live in my home at a discounted rent or rent-free so that she could save for a house. That way she gets help, but not in the form of a massive lump sum of money. Comment 2. One of the quickest ways to destroy relationships is to be unfair. Hopefully, you have enough to see you to the end because your older daughter may not lift a finger to help you. She's going to remember this. Your older daughter is right. Her sister was warned about marrying the loser. She married him anyway, and now has you paying her way through life. What a consequence for making a bad choice. If we all could be so lucky. Now for the update. Hey everyone, it's been a while since my last update, and I wanted to fill you in on what's been happening. Thanks for taking the time to read this. About a month ago, my eldest daughter, who was still upset about the financial help we gave her sister, came to us with a risky business proposal. She had been working on a new engineering project that she believed could revolutionize her industry, but she needed a significant investment to get it off the ground. She asked us to consider investing a portion of our retirement savings into her venture, promising that if it succeeded, we would see substantial returns. My husband and I were hesitant at first, knowing that investing in a startup could be a gamble. We had always been cautious with our money, especially after helping our youngest daughter with her apartment purchase. However, we could see the passion and determination in our eldest daughter's eyes as she explained her project in detail. She had clearly put a lot of thought and effort into this, and we knew she wouldn't have come to us if she didn't believe in its potential. After much discussion and weighing the risks, we decided to invest a portion of our savings into her project. It was a tense few weeks as we waited to see how things would pan out. Our eldest daughter worked tirelessly, putting in long hours and pouring her heart into making her vision a reality. During this time, I couldn't help but reflect on the different paths our daughters had taken. Our youngest had always been more emotionally driven, choosing a career in social work to help others, even if it meant a lower income. On the other hand, our eldest had always been more pragmatic and ambitious, focusing on her career and financial stability. I remembered a conversation I had with our youngest years ago when she first started dating her ex-husband. She had confided in me that she was drawn to his free-spirited nature and how he made her feel alive. I had cautioned her about the potential challenges of building a life with someone who didn't seem to have a strong sense of responsibility, but she was determined to follow her heart. Now, as I watched our eldest daughter work towards her goals, I realized that both of our girls had followed their passions in their own ways. While one had prioritized love and helping others, the other had focused on building a successful career and securing her family's future. As the weeks passed, we received updates from our eldest daughter about the progress of her project. There were setbacks and challenges along the way, but she remained determined and adaptable. Finally, after a month of hard work and anticipation, she called us with incredible news. Her project had been a success, and she had secured a major contract with a leading company in her industry. We were thrilled for her and proud of her accomplishments. Not only had she proven herself as a brilliant engineer, but she had also shown us the importance of taking calculated risks and believing in oneself. In the end, our investment paid off, and we saw a significant return on our savings. More importantly, we saw the joy and pride in our daughter's eyes as she realized her dreams. It was a reminder that sometimes taking a chance on the people we love can lead to incredible outcomes. As for our youngest daughter, she continues to work hard in her social work career, making a difference in the lives of others every day. While her path may be different from her sister's, we know that she is following her heart and doing what she believes is right. Looking back on this past month, I realize that life is full of unexpected twists and turns. As parents, we can only do our best to support and guide our children as they navigate their own journeys. And sometimes, taking a risk and believing in the people we love can lead to the most rewarding outcomes of all. Thanks again for reading and being a part of our family story. Am I the idiot for cutting off my stepdad? After discovering he's been using my trust fund? My 18-year-old female, mom died when I was 7. My father, aka step-siblings, dad remarried a year later. His new wife had 3 kids, A, 8-year-old male, B, 6-year-old male, C, 3-year-old female. He said she wanted a dad for her kids and he wanted a mom for me. I remember telling him I didn't want a new mom. He said I would understand later. My step-sibling's dad basically stopped doing anything alone with me. No more camping nights in the backyard or movie nights, which we had done every week for years. Nothing. He spent time with all his new kids to bond. It's been 11 years and he still doesn't have time for me because he's bonding with them. He stopped coming to my games when I got to high school. His wife and I have nothing in common. I play 3 sports and I'm on the speech team. She's very girly and likes girl trips to buy clothes and makeup at different malls. She knows I don't want to go, but just tells my step-sibling's dad that she invited me. I have a teammate I play 2 sports with. Her parents have become like my own. She said she is totally fine with it. I've made sure all the time because I don't want to take someone else's parents. But she's always the one to invite me over, brings her parents to my swim meets because she knows no one will be there for me, invites me to go shopping for Mother's Father's Day gifts and says they're from both of us. Her parents get me holiday gifts and say I'm always welcome. On senior night at basketball, I told her my step-sibling's dad isn't going to walk me around the floor because he doesn't even come to games. She asked her dad to walk both of us, and he was happy to. In a small town, that made the paper because they thought it was sweet. My step-sibling's dad flipped out and took us all to therapy. He asked why he hadn't been asked. I said because he didn't come to games. He said he didn't know I played basketball anymore. I asked if that's why he didn't come to swim or softball when he couldn't miss A and B's practices, or come to speech meets when he went to C's dance recitals. He just stared at me and said he didn't know I still did those either. I asked why he talked for days about B's camping trip but didn't ask about my senior trip to Mexico. He said he didn't know I went. I said he signed the form. He admitted he didn't read it. I asked if he remembered the last time I called him Dad. He said he didn't know I stopped. I said May 13th, 2021. He said that was the day A, B, and C started. I said I know. You stopped being my dad when you started being theirs. I walked out of therapy. Edit, I played all 3 sports since I was a toddler, so I'm not sure why he thought I stopped. He never asked why I came home a couple of hours after practice or went out on weekends for game days. When I talked about games, he said I thought I was just playing with friends because all my friends play. Update got deleted. Basically, I'm getting some info on my trust and belongings it paid for. My friend's dad tried to confront my step-sibling's dad about why I can't go over anymore, but he just shut the door on him and I check in daily with my friend or her parents via phone. My step-siblings are all mad at both their parents and are being very supportive. Now, for a few comments before the update. Comment 1, he said he didn't know I played basketball anymore. I asked if that's why he didn't come to swim or softball when he couldn't miss A and B's practices, or come to speech meets when he went to C's dance recitals. He just stared at me and said he didn't know I still did those either. Jesus Christ, does he know anything about you? Not the idiot. I wonder if your friend's parents might let you stay with them for a little while because dad sounds like a train wreck. I mean, Christ, you had to have been gone at least a week when you went to Mexico. Where did he think you were? Comment 2, not the idiot. Your friend's parents are wonderful people. Be grateful for them. See if your mom, in her death, left anything to you. See if your friend's parents can contact an attorney to see if the house was left partially to you. Because I'm assuming once you're 18, you're moving out. I'm sure by participating in sports and clubs, you'll receive scholarships. Please use them either for college or trade. And don't speak to your dad or step-family after you move out. All they'll want is money. Good luck and don't go to therapy with them. Now for the update. Hey everyone, thanks for reading my update. It's been very eventful couple of weeks since my last post. After walking out of therapy, I went straight to my friend's house. Her parents welcomed me with open arms, as always. They sat me down and asked what happened, so I told them everything. They were furious on my behalf and wanted to confront my step-sibling's dad, but I asked them not to. I didn't want to cause any more drama. A few days later, my friend's dad couldn't hold back anymore. He went over to my house and tried to talk to my step-sibling's dad, asking why I wasn't allowed to come over anymore. But my step-sibling's dad just shut the door in his face without saying a word. It was a harsh reality check for me, seeing how little he cared about my well-being. Since then, I've been checking in with my friend and her parents every day via phone. They've been my lifeline through all of this, making sure I'm okay and offering their support. I don't know what I would do without them. Meanwhile, my step-siblings have been surprisingly supportive. They're all mad at their parents for how they've treated me. A and B have been coming to my room at night, asking if I'm okay and if there's anything they can do to help. C has been drawing me pictures and leaving them on my bed. It's a small gesture, but it means the world to me. I've also been doing some digging into my trust fund and the belongings it's paid for over the years. I never really thought about it before, but now I'm realizing just how much my mom left behind for me. It's a bittersweet feeling, knowing that she cared enough to provide for me even after she was gone, but also knowing that my step-sibling's dad has been using that money without really considering my needs. Looking back, I can see how my step-sibling's dad has been neglecting me for years. It's not just the big things, like missing my games and not knowing what activities I'm involved in. It's the little things too, like never asking about my day or showing any interest in my life. I used to think it was because he was busy with his new family, but now I realize it's because he simply doesn't care. It's been a tough realization to come to, but I'm slowly learning to accept it. I know I can't change my step-sibling's dad, but I can choose how I react to his behavior. I'm focusing on the people who do care about me, like my friend and her parents, and trying to build a future for myself that doesn't rely on him. As for what's next, I'm not entirely sure. I'm just taking things one day at a time, leaning on the support of my friend and her family, and trying to figure out what I want for my future. It's a scary prospect, but I know I have people in my corner who will help me through it. Anyway, that's all for now. Thanks again for reading and for all your support. It means more than you know. If you like this video, you'll probably like these too. Also, while you're here, please consider subscribing. It's your support that keeps this channel alive and allows me to make better and longer videos. Have a great day.